Hello, everyone. Welcome to the world of understanding and learning informative science experiments. In this experiment, let us see how to identify the cation zinc ion. Cations are positively charged ions. Most of the cations are metal ions. Cations combine with anions, negatively charged ions, and form salts. We can identify the cations present in the salt by using two reagents, sodium hydroxide and ammonium hydroxide. In this experiment, I will show you how to identify the presence of zinc ion using the above reagents. This experiment is done using Laboxd Science Experiment Kit. Now, let us perform the test. The materials required are two test tubes, water, sodium hydroxide solution, ammonium hydroxide solution, zinc sulphate salt. Take sodium hydroxide solution, ammonium hydroxide solution, water, glass rod, zinc sulphate salt. It is a white crystalline salt. Two test tubes. Now add the salt into the test tube. Be careful while performing the experiment. Use the apparatus carefully. Now the salt is ready. To prepare the solution of the salt, add water to the salt. We can see that the salt dissolves in water. Add about half a test tube of water to prepare the solution. Stir it well and mix the salt. Now the solution is ready. Divide the solution into two parts. Pour it into another test tube. Now the solution is ready. Take one part of the solution to perform sodium hydroxide test. First, add few drops of sodium hydroxide and observe carefully. We can see a white precipitate being formed. This is zinc hydroxide. It is called a gelatinous white precipitate. Now add sodium hydroxide in excess. It so slowly dissolves. Stir it and check whether the salt dissolves. Yes, it dissolves. If we use concentrated sodium hydroxide solution, the reaction takes place quickly. Here we are using weak sodium hydroxide, that is dilute sodium hydroxide, so it takes little time, that is the reaction takes place slowly. Now keep the test tube aside for a while. Take the other part of the solution to perform ammonium hydroxide test. Add a few drops of ammonium hydroxide solution to the salt solution. Observe carefully. See, a white gelatinous white precipitate is formed. Now add excess of ammonium hydroxide solution and observe carefully. Stir it well. We can see that the precipitate dissolves in ammonium hydroxide solution when it is added in excess. A clear solution is formed. Now let us see what happens to the salt solution when excess sodium hydroxide is added. Oh yes, it dissolves. Add few more drops of sodium hydroxide to check it correctly. Stir it well. Yes, it is dissolving. A clear solution is being formed. The inference is with excess sodium hydroxide and ammonium hydroxide solution, zinc salt forms a colorless solution. Now, let us understand the chemical reaction that takes place in this experiment. In the first test, when a few drops of sodium hydroxide is added, the following reaction takes place. ZnSO4, that is zinc sulphate, reacts with NaOH, that is sodium hydroxide, to form Na2SO4, that is sodium sulphate, and ZnOH twice, that is zinc hydroxide. A gelatinous white precipitate is formed. Now, the reaction further continues when excess of sodium hydroxide is added as follows. NaOH, that is sodium hydroxide, reacts with ZnOH twice, that is zinc hydroxide, to form H2O, that is water, and Na2ZnO2, that is sodium zincate. A gelatinous white precipitate dissolves and forms a colorless solution. In the second test, when a few drops of ammonium hydroxide is added, the following reaction takes place. ZnSO4, that is zinc sulphate, reacts with NH4OH, that is ammonium hydroxide, to form NH4 twice SO4, that is ammonium sulphate, and ZnOH twice, that is zinc hydroxide. A gelatinous white precipitate is formed. Now, when excess of ammonium hydroxide is added, the reaction continues as follows. ZnOH twice, that is zinc hydroxide, reacts with NH4 twice SO4, that is ammonium sulphate, and NH4OH, that is ammonium hydroxide, to form H2O, that is water, and ZnNH3 four times SO4, that is tetraamine zinc sulphate. The gelatinous white precipitate dissolves and forms a colorless solution. Now, here is quiz time. I hope you are all ready to answer. The first question is: name the reagents used for the identification of zinc ion. Did you guess the answer? It is sodium hydroxide and ammonium hydroxide. Now, the second question is: what is the observation when sodium hydroxide solution is added in excess to zinc sulfate solution? I hope you got the answer. The answer is a gelatinous white precipitate dissolves in excess sodium hydroxide solution and forms a colorless solution. Now, third question is: what is the observation when ammonium hydroxide solution is added in excess to zinc sulfate solution? The answer is gelatinous white precipitate dissolves in excess ammonium hydroxide solution and forms a colorless solution. Thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the experiment.